Company. Big Dave here. What do you say we get together and make some sweet podcast love? I would love to tell you about what we're talking about this week on the Big Dave and Company podcast, but guess what? We're going to do it totally 100% unscripted. It's Thursday, July 29th, and this is the Big Dave and Company podcast. You may notice, it sounds a little different today. That is because I am Big Dave. I am here at the Gigabyte Systems Studios. It is on the 18th floor of the worldwide headquarters, and we are totally 100% unscripted. With me is my usual company. You have to apologize. I don't have my script, so I may not know their names. Sarah Tance Cumberbund from the FCC, the lovely Emily, of course the unpaid interns, Herbie the Wonder Dog, stationed under the table, as always.
You did that very smoothly.
Thank you. And of course, the golden voice you hear out of your other ear, my technical producer and clown aficionado, Mike Alicious.
I love me some clowns.
Like happy face, sad face, somewhere in between?
Scary ones, yeah.
Scary
all of
clowns?
the above, yes.
What about Kiss? They look like clowns.
No, they are not clowns. I mean, they're a bunch of, they're like ass clowns.
You don't like Kiss?
No.
Detroit Rock City?
Nope.
No, not a big fan?
Not a fan.
All right. Well, that's good. What's your favorite type of clown?
Like a Bozo the Clown.
He was good.
With the big shoes and the nose.
And the game where you had to throw a ping pong ball in a bucket.
Yep, the bucket game.
What's good? Do you have clown memorabilia at your home?
No.
Okay.
I actually have a separate dwelling.
Oh, you have a clown house.
Yeah, it's a clown.
That's exciting.
It's like a fun house.
Sure. You ever killed the clown?
No.
That's good. Shouldn't kill the things you love.
Every time you kill a clown, an angel gets its wings. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that's true. That's a cold, hard fact.
Wow. Did you know that every time you ring a bell, it creates sound waves that are processed by other people's eardrums?
No way.
Registers in their brain. Anyway, we have a great podcast for you today. I don't know what's going to happen on the podcast today. This is a special treat because usually we, for those of you who don't know company, usually we have a loose script that we follow.
And by loose, you mean very tight and rigid.
Yes, like word for word. All those ums that I say that because they're in our script.
Because they're in our script.
Right. So when our script writers, i.e. the unpaid interns, are writing it and they don't know what to write next, they type And because I read everything that's put in front of me.
You're like Ron Burgundy.
I'm like Ron Burgundy.
If you put it on the teleprompter, he will read it.
Stay classy? From the worldwide headquarters?
Go fuck yourselves, San Diego.
The hardest one I have to read is when they write in Spanish and there's the upside down exclamation point.
Yeah, how do you pronounce that?
Upside down exclamation point. Oh. That's what I say. I say exclamacion incorrecto. So we're unscripted today, but I do know in my brain that we're brought to you by Morningwood Estate. You all know about Morningwood Estate. Sir Jason, Lady Rebecca, the royal family on a many 1,000-acre landed estate. Go online for details about your Morningwood Estate vacation.
Because we don't really know what the promo is, so just call or go online.
And you can see their promo. They have all sorts of great promotions.
There's some promo,
but you can actually just book, rooms to stay there for like your honeymoon or your
at full price without a promotion.
Of course, they'll always let you build.
Right.
They actually have a little checkbox if you book on the internet that says charge me extra fees and stuff. So if you don't uncheck the checkbox, it charges you extra fees.
Oh.
You know how they have the ones that's like, I understand the terms and conditions?
Right, but they have an extra fee one.
Right, and they always have the one that's like checked and it says, please send me fee promotion. This one says, please charge me extra fees to my...
Please charge me 15% extra for no particular reason.
Please add 15% gratuity to all. And you have to uncheck that.
Do we get any cut of that?
Of the 15% gratuity?
None. We should
work something out. Anything. We get a FEMA trailer.
Speaking about getting things, how's our podcast store doing? I mean, the sales are rolling in. It's like wildfire.
There are people on the streets of several mid-size American cities that have Big Dave and Company podcast things.
Like the Amarillo, Texases of the world?
Yes.
Okay.
Or the Cedar Rapids, Iowas.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're, it's taken off right now. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to be in the Big Dave and Company podcast store warehouse.
So you must be very happy. It's another thing that you're able to skim off the top of.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's great because when you pay that exorbitant shipping fee, that's really going to me.
Wow.
This is how we ship. If you buy a T-shirt, we have a giant T-shirt cannon.
We shoot
Cuts
it.
down on the FedExing.
But then we charge you like $27
But
because you get it instantaneously.
Right, and we spent $10.5 million on the guidance system.
As soon as you
the
click
coordinates
submit,
system.
it actually comes crashing through your window wherever you are.
You don't even realize it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
But
how
by
good it
clicking
is.
submit, you agree not to sue us for any
That's right in
damages.
there. And a 15% gratuity.
Right.
Where do you think Morning Wood Estate learned their tricks from?
Only the best.
Sure. We had a glitch, though. We had a glitch in the system, though, and somebody asked, they tried to buy a hooded sweatshirt, and a piece of steel from the Kim Jong-il Metal Foundry, the glorious supreme leader of all metal foundries in Pyongyang, North Korea, came crashing through their dormer.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wrong. We hit the...
We
There's
had
some warehouse
There was like,
issues.
somewhere in the code, there was like a semicolon, and there needed to be like a period.
There needed to be an upside-down exclamation point.
Yes.
Right.
An exclamation on
So-
incorrecto, as they would say.
So have you ordered anything
Yeah.
for yourself?
Sure.
What'd you get?
I ordered a T-shirt.
Okay.
Because I'm all about T-shirts. I'm a T-shirt and jeans kind of person.
Okay, me too.
When I'm not, dressed up for my mini media
And when
mogul.
it's cool out, I do like a hoodie. I'm a hoodie kind of
right.
guy.
I didn't order. I got a T-shirt and I got a bumper sticker.
For the corporate jet?
For the corporate jet.
Good
Here's
idea.
the problem, though.
Okay.
I should have made one of the unpaid interns put on, but I decided because it was such a momentous occasion that I was
Pretty
going to
big
put it
deal.
on myself. So I took it, and instead of putting it on like a person who lives on their own and is not a ward of the state, I put it on like I was a window licker on the short bus. And like I took the backing off it and I admired it for a while, and then like the plane was out there in the hot sun, and the jet engine was going and generating heat, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to try to put this on. And I put it on and there was like an air wrinkle, and then I was like, no, wrinkle. I don't want those people at Qantas to fly by and see a wrinkle on my bumper sticker. They will make fun of me till no end.
Yeah, because those guys are dickbags.
Right.
Those Qantas guys. Yeah.
So I pulled today's podcast brought to you by
Qantas Airlines.
brought to you by Western Australia Airlines. Cheaper than Qantas, and they fly all the same places. No, I pulled it back off because it was still like fresh enough. I just pulled it all off, and I went to try again, and I did it about 7 times.
And no more sticky.
And I got it on there stuck, and I was like, that looks good. And I walked like 20 feet away, and I looked, and it was crooked in the middle. So it like came in from the right, nice and straight, and then took like a 45-degree turn somewhere in there.
Kind of like your wang.
Yes, just like my wang. It was very wang-like on the back of the corporate
starts
jet.
so straight, and then it has this crook.
So then I was
Is that
like,
why you can't like keep a girl for very long?
because of my
It's 'cause,
inferior
like,
wang.
you have a couple dates and everything's going good, and you're very charming and nice, and
And I'm a media mogul.
and very handsome.
And they're on the fucking jet.
right, and very handsome.
And they're drugged.
So then you get to that date where she's going to see your wang,
They're going to see my downtown bonanza.
and there's no more.
my special area.
There's suddenly no more dates after
No
that.
more dates. It's actually like a regular exclamation point.
That's
It's a long
embar-
shaft, and then there's a break there, and then there's a dot.
like a dot. That's
Dot.
embarrassing.
That's very weird. Strange. I should get that
I
looked
don't
at
think-
by a professional.
I don't know a lot about penises, but I don't think that's normal.
So I heard you know a lot about the wang.
No, I don't. No.
What about clown penis? .fart.
.org.
Anywho, that's the story of the bumper sticker. So I peeled it off the jet because I didn't want those dicks over at fucking Delta to make fun of me when they went by. So it's gone now, and I have to order another one and put it on in a more appropriate way.
You have to pay for them?
Yeah, I buy them.
I would think that you get them for free.
I'm
Being
skimming.
that it's like you on the bumper sticker,
Right. Essentially, it is free.
Because you skim.
I skim off the top of the podcast store.
So you pay up front,
Sure.
but then skim.
If you are, just to note to all the company out there, all of our listeners, if you're interested in purchasing something from the Big Dave and Company podcast store, please do so. You can catch a link at www.bigdaveandcompany.com or www.cafepress.com/Big Dave and
And
Company.
there's links on the Big Dave and Company
Facebook
website,
page.
Facebook.
So they're out there.
and just send us an email.
We'll certainly send it. We'll respond to it.
Right.
And tell you
and
where
we'll
to
send
go.
you if you send us an email, we'll send you a coupon that allows you to pay full price for anything you purchase.
That's only available.
Only
You have to
available-
mention that you heard this podcast.
Right.
It's number 29-2010.
Right. But you have to request it special.
And we'll send it out
Podcast
to you.
at bigdaveandcompany.com.
.com. Send any of your other comments, questions, list of your fears, and your home address.
So I have something that I think we should talk about since we're unscripted.
We are unscripted. There is no script other than you firing rude gestures at me when I do something that is technically incorrect.
Like before we started. when you were typing on the keyboard and you shouldn't have been.
When you were trying to do important programming things and I was just randomly mashing keys and like I was playing Tekken.
Right. That's not nice.
Like I was playing.
So anyway, I was talking to my girlfriend.
Yeah?
And I mentioned...
The real one or the plastic one?
No, the real one. And I mentioned how it was her time of the month, right?
Was there a special lady time? Aunt Flo was
Aunt
here
Flo
to visit?
came to visit. And we're talking about how weird that is, what a weird kind of phenomenon that is, and how if guys had that, it would be like the end of the world. Because guys, in general, when it comes to health things like being sick or having a cold, they're pussies. They're gigantic pussies, myself included. I'll be the first to admit that. And I can only imagine that if a guy had blood coming from his crotch, it would be the end of the world. He wouldn't leave the house for a week because he's a gigantic pussy. So then we kind of started talking about that, and we were talking about like waxing and all the things that women have to do. And I mean, I don't think could you ever wax?
I probably could. I would suspect
you
waxing.
could do it once.
I would suspect.
Be like, fuck that.
I would. Yeah, you want to know why? Because I'm smart, and I'd be like, that fucking hurts.
Right.
I'm not going to keep grabbing the goddamn burner when I know the stove is hot.
So do you think it's the fact that women are intellectually inferior to men, that they just don't get that that's what the pain is coming from?
They have a brain the third of the size of man. It's science.
It's science. Or do you think it's the fact that their pain tolerance is so much higher than a man's?
I think it's one of those.
I'm talking to the scientist, Big Dave.
Big Dave, Dr.
Dave.
I went to the same school Dr. J did. I think it's a little bit of one of those which came first, the chicken and the egg. Here's the deal. Women through...
The cock came first. And then he rolled over.
Women through the course of sociological development...
You're getting all scientific on me.
It's come to the point where they feel they need to do these things for beauty. And I'm sure that the first time they pluck an eyebrow.
You're like, fuck,
they're like,
hurts.
God damn it, this hurts, but it's got to be done. And then they do it. And over time, you build up. I mean, like, think about it. Like, I
know the first time that I masturbated with a cheese grater, it hurt.
Right.
But now.
I mean, think about, for instance, Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Okay.
In the first one, it hurt like a bitch when he got shot. But by the time he got to Die Hard 71, it's just like, oh, no big deal.
And he's all walking on the glass and stuff.
Or like Apu in The Simpsons has been shot so many times that he just gets up and goes back to work.
Right.
You build up a tolerance to anything. So I would suspect that, our lady friends out there get used to that. And eventually it's no big deal. They get used to the pain. Okay. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt.
So that brings up another point.
I'm not saying it's not impressive what they do, because, like, shit, have you ever seen the high heels they wear? I'd have broken shin bones.
That brings up another point. Do women do all these things.
Chick maidens.
For men.
Call them chick maidens.
And the reason this came up is I was at a wedding with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Over the last weekend.
Yeah.
And we were talking about...
Was it your wedding?
No.
Was it somebody else's?
I'm not getting married. It was somebody else's.
I've heard that before.
We're talking about all the different things that women do, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we do this. We have to look good. We have to pluck our eyebrows and shave our legs." And for men, and I said, "No, that's the thing.
Nay.
You don't have to. You do it for other women.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guys, like myself, I could care less. I mean, yeah, if she had hairy legs, that would be.
What if she had a unibrow?
But if she didn't wear makeup or something, I wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. And I think most guys, to a point, are like that. But I think that these women go to this degree for the other women because it's like a contest for them. They're constantly competing. Sure. I think. I don't know.
Not being a woman, I feel that I'm an expert on them, and I can speak with authority.
Only we could be experts.
And I can speak with authority on the subject. I would.
We're going to get emails on this one.
I know. I would guess a lot of it is self-esteem, though, too. Think about it like this. I mean, if you look good, you feel good.
True, and that's true.
So, like, when I come out of my house on, like, Sunday morning and I look like a fat sack of shit,
you feel like,
and I'm like my eyes are droopy and I got big bags underneath
unshaven,
them, and like a quarter of my face is shaven because I fell asleep on some sandpaper.
Right. You have a Cheeto on,
right? And I got cheek. And I'm like wearing a tank top, and like one of my man boobs is hanging out, and I'm going to get the paper. I don't feel very good because I look like crap. But when I'm like in my tuxedo, flying on my corporate jet to the chairman, or not the chairman,
you're looking good, and
you're going to the Chairman Mao Metal Foundry for our annual, what's that thing, croquet match that we have?
Oh.
No, we have a croquet match. And I look good when I go to that. I got to look good. And then I feel good. And then inevitably we either win, lose, or tie. And
But women have such low self-esteem in general anyway.
I'm not going to touch that one.
But they do. I mean, they do. Do you think that dressing up really matters? I mean,
sure.
Not all. I'm not saying all women, but many women have very low self-esteem. Sure. Those are the kind of women that I like to date because they're they're the easiest.
The desperate ones?
Correct.
Sure.
Have you seen me?
I tend to like blind women.
Sure.
The
ones that have like no legs so they can't run away.
Ones with giant penises.
Those are called guys.
Oh, I thought that was a female rugby
or trannies.
Oh, man.
I know, you've dated some
Pre or post-op? Which one is it?
You've dated some trannies. Oh, it's pretty bad, too.
I wouldn't say it was dating.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were hookers.
And I killed them.
Those tranny hookers.
It's the best kind of hooker. Dead hooker.
So, Otto, what do you think? Do you think I'm way off with this?
Let's take some calls. Oh wait, we don't have any.
Right.
We don't have any phones.
Soon, very soon. The equipment is actually on order.
Really? That's exciting.
Not really. But it will be.
No one's going to call us anyway. What does it matter?
We actually have to just think. We'll have to actually give out a phone number.
No.
That'll be the first ever phone number that we've ever given out on this podcast. If we get a phone in
Listen. We're not going to do that. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
Let me tell you why. First of all, we don't do anything like anybody else does.
That's true.
That's true.
That is very true. And that's why we're so darn successful.
We're individualists here at the Big David Company podcast. And
I would like to say pioneers.
Pioneers in things. So anybody can take calls from callers. When I say let's take some calls, we're going to make some random phone calls.
That's even a better idea.
Random digits we're going to dial out.
That's actually a really good idea.
We're going to dial out. We're just going to dial around, and it's going to be like, hello, and you'll be like, is this who is this? And they're gonna be like,
this is Jingwack.
This is Russ Terwilliger. And they'll be like, Russ, gotta ask you a question real quick. What do you think about bleeding vaginas? And he'll be like, I don't know that I feel comfortable asking the answer to that. Come on.
So you're anti-bleeding vagina.
Well,
no, I mean, idea.
You know what I mean? We'll just call and be like, well, today's topic we're talking about the Industrial Revolution. How do you feel about the effects of the Industrial Revolution on 17th century
on the post-war economy,
on the 17th century English Midlands? Can you tell me your thoughts about that real quick?
You have 30 seconds.
Are you with us? Are you with us?
Hello.
This dial tone brought to you by Morningwood Estates.
I think that maybe once a month we should do that. We'll make like one random call.
Phone call.
One every 4 podcasts.
Speaking of...
We're going to have to star 67 before we call.
Sure. Right, so they don't know who's calling them. Speaking of Morningwood Estates, call and go online to book your dream Morningwood Estates vacation weekend for you or your family, even if you're traveling for business pleasure, doesn't really matter. Stay at Morningwood Estates and you too can wake up with Morningwood. That was fantastic.
We nailed that.
I was seamless. I was seamless like a gutter. When I went into that.
I was seamless like a gutter. Oh, this podcast in the gutter brought to you by
you know that
Gutters.
Right now, somewhere in the Great White North, the Canadian clubber is there, and he's typing right now. He's like finger pecking. The gutters on my home are not seamless. They are joined together by Series 5 pop rivets, 2 millimeter in diameter.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
He's a nitpicker.
He's a good friend of the show.
Actually, I talked to him the other day, like in person.
Yeah, how's he like my fucking pool?
And he said he said he hasn't listened to like the last 15 podcasts.
They're not available in metric yet.
He said that he's the place where he used to at his place of employment, his empire,
Canada, the Canadian.
He no longer has working speakers on his computer, so he can't listen to them.
But you know what he can do? Go to the Big David Company podcast store and purchase quality merchandise.
You know, we should actually, if he emailed us and sent us a check, we could put some on a CD and send them to him.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. And then he could listen in his car.
In his vehicle.
Right. And we could autograph the CD.
Sure.
$19.95. You can get all of our
That's the year we're going to go back to $19.95?
That's $19.95.
Oh. Can we fit them all in one CD?
You can get all of our back episodes.
Yeah. Are you sure it's not going to be a CD set?
On as many CDs as it takes.
You're our technical producer. You should know.
Well, they're 30 minutes apiece, and you can fit
80 minutes on a CD.
So we'll get 2 per disc.
And then waste the rest of the space, but still charge them for it.
Oh, yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I can't wait to skim some money off the top of that.
This is like our 47th podcast?
46.
46 podcasts. They're all blending together.
I had my friends at NASA do the computations on the NASA computer.
46.
The same one that sends all those shuttles into
That
space?
means our 52nd podcast is coming up. Which
And
is
what does that mean?
That's our one. That would be our 1 year anniversary.
How does that work though? Well, that'd be my question, because it's not going to come out on the same date as our very first.
No.
Not it's going to come out on 9/9/09 like our first one did.
But it'll be
9/9/09.
52 podcasts. So that's
What if this was a leap year?
Then I can't even imagine doing that math. I don't have a slide rule.
That breaks it into a fraction that can't even be comprehended.
Correct.
By man.
It just repeats forever. You have to like divide by pi, and I don't take
Times
all that.
E. What's
Right.
with that?
I don't know. There's
I don't.
letters.
I don't like math where there's more letters.
No.
Because I do alphabet all day, and then I go.
But
and
you're
have
not
to do
very
math.
good at it.
No, but then I have to go do a math problem, and that's like a whole other set of
Right.
stuff.
And then there's numbers and letters.
And then there's letters in the math, and I'm like, but I was just doing letters, and you told me to stop.
I know. What are you
terrible.
gonna do? It's terrible.
So that's very exciting. Let's see what else is going on.
Speaking of terrible, is Charles Barkley talking to you anymore?
No.
I know you kind of, there was that falling out. Is it?
Well, Charles Barkley's a super mega celebrity.
He is.
And I'm a super media mogul.
Right.
So we did it like all super mega celebrities do nowadays, and we're hashing
You
out.
tweeted about it.
Yeah, we're hashing out our differences via Twitter.
Good.
Tweeter, as some people
Tweeter.
call it. Actually, it was funny. I was watching television the other day. You ever watch television?
I do.
Okay. And there was an advertisement on the television for an upcoming television show called Shaq Versus. And Shaquille O'Neal goes out and finds these people and takes them on at their specialty. So, for instance, he takes on the kid who won the spelling bee in a spelling contest.
Oh, God.
Or he would take on you at technically producing a podcast. Okay. And it was going through the people that were going to be on his show, right? And it's like gymnast and this person. And then Charles Barkley's name flashes by, and I'm thinking, what is Shaq going to do? Is he going to play basketball with Charles Barkley? Because Shaq's a basketball player anyway.
Right.
Are they going to go gambling together? Like
He does that anyway.
Like they're not going to play golf. I mean, what's Charles's specialty that they're going to do?
Hosting a.
We're both going to run for governor of Alabama.
Yeah. And
Like,
see who wins.
that's what I want to know, because it flashed. I'm like, okay, so Charles is on it, and that's great. But what's his specialty that Shaq's going to take him on?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So Sir Charles.
I think we should have him take you on as media mogul and podcast celebrity.
Shaq, do you think you could be able to do the podcast?
I think our listenership would go up significantly if we had Shaq on here.
They call Shaq.
Not that there's anything wrong with what you do, because it's great, but it's Shaq. I'm just saying. I may have hurt your feelings a little there. I can tell by the look on your face.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now.
You're going to tell me to go fuck off.
No,
Oh.
I was going to say my feelings weren't even hurt until you started apologizing. You could have just breezed on, and I wouldn't have even caught that.
Yeah, but
and I
you
was
were
like,
looking at me like I just crushed your
I'm like,
soul a little.
yeah, let's have Shaq in here. No big deal.
No,
and
wait
I was
a minute.
like thinking,
I'm offended.
and like I looked at you, and like the wheels were turning in my mind. I'm like, well, how do we get a hold of him? I mean, it was great. And then you're like, not that you do anything wrong. And I was like, he did kind of say that I should be replaced there.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
But I think that would be. They call Shaq the Big Aristotle.
No, I did not know
That's
that.
one of his nicknames.
Why?
Because he always like earlier in his career, he would always come out with these big, like these quotes, and they were very Yogi Berra-ish. He'd be like, well, sometimes when you're playing basketball, you got to go through a lot of pain if you want to win the game. And you're like, okay. Or he'd be
that sounded like Charles Barkley.
or he'd pull out like
your
very
Shaq
big-
sounds a lot like Charles Barkley.
Well, all basketball players, they all sound.
They all
alike.
have that little bit of an
He'd be
accent.
like, you can't go. He's like, you can't go to the water and make the horse drink if you haven't learned to speak horse. Like a reporter would ask a question, he'd be like, so Shaq, you were 13 of 26 from the free throw line, and do you think that you can improve your free throw shooting? And he'd be like, sometimes when you're building a building, you just have to use quality materials. And that's why that's a lot like free throw shooting. And you're like, what does that even mean?
What? That doesn't make sense.
But he'd come out with these like things that sounded so profound. And Shaq actually is a very bright guy.
You need to start doing that on the podcast.
Shaq's a very bright guy, So a lot of these things he'd say, and the reporters wouldn't know like the illusion he was making or the simile, and
Sure.
But it's so they started calling him because he went through like a very introspective kind of philosophical phase, and they got the nickname the Big Aristotle. Also, he discovered math during his time at LSU.
Wow. That's good for him. That's a big accomplishment.
Yes.
That's world changing.
A lot of people think math came from the Greeks. No, it came from Shaq.
Wow, much later than they originally
Ever thought. He's been rewriting textbooks for a long time. This is the Big Dave and Company podcast, unscripted, for those of you just tuning in.
As
if we're live and you just turned us on now.
The last segment was brought to you by Bob's House of Wigs, now in 2 locations, Tampa and Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full line of merkins and leg hair wigs, basically all the hair needs that you can
They
ever
also
want.
have traditional wigs. Let's not forget about that. And
they have the
toupees.
powdered like English wigs. Bob'sHouseOfWigs.biz or hair4, that's the number 4, tomorrow.com, or just email us, podcast@bigdaveandcompany.com.
We'll get you hooked up with them.
We'll get you hooked up.
Yes. This advertisement brought to you by West Virginia Power and Light. West Virginia Power and Light reminds all of their customers out there that paying an electricity bill is mandatory if you want to continue your service, and please, please, please do not try to blow up any more hydroelectric dams. West Virginia Power and Light, we're always on.
That's one of my favorite taglines, I think, is the West Virginia.
They do. We're always on.
It's right on.
Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, you know what we forgot to do today?
What?
News.
We forgot to do the news, and we also have an essay that came in.
Yeah?
We have an essay that we could read.
All right, well,
if you wanted to.
Let's start out by belatedly saying it's time for the news. Got an exciting news article this week.
What do we got?
Very exciting.
I'm glad we were able to fit this in.
Yes, because we forgot earlier.
See, that's what happens when we're totally unscripted.
We forget things.
Yeah.
My mind is like a steel trap, okay?
That you forgot the key.
Rusty and seldom used.
Right.
So when something does walk by,
kind of
it
like
snaps.
Patsy's vagina.
Don't talk about my mom that way. That's uncalled for.
I apologize.
My mom's name
that
and
was in the name of humor.
My mom's name and vagina, in my mind, should never be used in the same sentence.
Shouldn't be used in the same year.
Ever. They shouldn't. The same person shouldn't say either.
I'm sorry.
You actually have to call
Dave, your mom doesn't even have a vagina.
You have to call. You did it again. You have to call the Smothers Brothers, and one says the name and one says the word vagina. I would say Penn and Teller, but Teller never talks.
That's right. But that's
So
perfect because he could be the one saying vagina.
Or whichever.
Right.
Because I'm happy to talk about other people's vaginas. Just not.
What about your vagina?
It's huge and gaping and filled with sand.
Filled with sand. Anyway, what's the news article?
This one comes from the Eastern Oregon Press Gazette. Okay. This is Dateline, Bend, Oregon. It says, local 2-bit podcasters receive essay contest entry. 2 local broadcasters originating from the worldwide headquarters received an entry to their unmitigated successful podcast giveaway. I'm totally making this up. It's my way of saying there's an essay.
Is this us?
Or
is this somebody else you're
that
talking about?
was a poorly executed. See, here's the thing. When we did Unscripted, we couldn't.
First of all, we're not in Bend, Oregon. We're near it, but we're not in it.
We could be. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we're on iTunes, we're on the web, and we're worldwide. No, that was me trying. Cause here's the thing: I can't have an article because that's like a script.
So, who's this podcast from? Are you going to read it for us?
This podcast is from Big Dave and Company.
You knew what I meant. The essay entry.
Yeah, we got an essay from a very special, someone very near and dear to our heart. Our first guest ever.
Who? Who was our first guest?
The patron
Canadian Clubber?
No,
Big
Canadian
Dave.
Clubber. Pre that.
Me.
Pre you.
Technically, I was the first guest.
I guess. But our first
real guest.
Yeah. She is also the patron saint
maybe our most
of the Big
beautiful
David Company podcast.
Possibly.
This is from Lady Rebecca. Lady Rebecca of Morningwood Estate. She writes to us.
I can't believe she wrote an essay.
Or to me, as it says. It says, Lady Rebecca, to me.
It does.
Greetings, Big Dave and Company.
That's me. I'm the and company.
I just want to go on the record stating that I do not want... Should we tell people what this is about, our essay contest? For
let's
just
bring
listening?
the new listeners up to speed.
If you're a new listener, we are running a contest right now. If you send us an essay about how receiving it will change your life...
Receiving what? Herpes?
I will tell you.
That would change my life.
Yes, I know. Especially of the mouth. Of the pit. Anyway, if you let me finish my carefully constructed sentence.
Start over.
If you send us a...
$20...
Yes. Number 4, always interrupting. If you send us an essay about why receiving it will change your life, we will send you a copy of the book 400 facts.
400 facts.
No, it's
200
Chuck Norris versus Mr. T.
Right.
400 facts about the greatest men in the history of ever.
The baddest dudes.
The baddest dudes in the history of ever. By Ian Spector. We'll send that to you if you write us an essay telling us why it would receive it.
This is an actual book. We're not. This is the one thing we're not making.
And
up.
we've received literally billions of essays.
Billions.
11 billion and a half.
But we only read the good ones because some of them are just say, "Send me the book."
Right, and we also read some that come from the person who sponsors our podcast,
which is their
Morning Wood Estate, Lady Rebecca. So she writes this to us: "Greetings, Big Dave and Company, comma." I'm just getting ready. That's a pregnant pause. Adds to the
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exclamación incorrecto. I just want to go on the record stating that I do not want the, quote, Batman versus the Incredible Hulk 200 facts about the greatest superheroes in the history of ever, end quote, book, or whatever it's called. I am a chick and thus like chick things. If you were giving away a cookbook titled Batman, Incredible Hulk, Danger Mouse, and the other fun birthday cakes for kids, I would have wrote in 3 weeks ago. That's not true. She would have instructed someone to write in on her behalf because she has people to do that for her and cook for her. But you weren't, so I didn't. So why am I writing in now? Great question. I'm writing in because here at the Morningwood Estate Boarding School, which is opening now, you can go and get your kids in, our budgets have been drastically reduced thanks to a series of failed fundraising attempts throughout the summer of 2010. We are operating on a tight budget this year, and we are looking to cut costs. I did a little research, and it turns out this book is considered appropriate curriculum for the 5th grade. The Morningwood Estate Boarding School is accredited by both the USDA and NAACP, and both entities list this book as acceptable literature. So I, Lady Rebecca, am officially submitting this essay to you in hopes that Big Dave and Michaelicious would select the Morningwood Estates Boarding School as the lucky recipient of this fine piece of literature. Respectfully yours, Lady Rebecca. P.S. If I don't win, I'm cutting your funding.
That's bad.
That's bad.
You said budgets are tight.
Budgets are tight. So, Lady Rebecca, that's an intriguing essay.
I would say it's a front runner. It's top 50.
Yes.
It's a top 50
I have some questions about it, though. Important
you can't
questions.
ask. She's not here. You can't ask questions.
Well, here's my thing. I guess I wonder why it's accredited by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
And the NAACP.
And the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I've never seen a colored person.
I didn't know that they accredited things.
I didn't either. And I don't know if the USDA is the Morningwood, are they raising cattle or what they're doing up there. But this is interesting, and I think that it's very nice for her to be asking for this for the school, but that's not very Lady Rebecca.
No.
Usually she's out to make a buck somehow.
So do you think this really isn't her?
I think it's really her, but I would suspect that if we give them the book for their school, they get some sort of major tax break.
Oh.
You know, and she ends up making like $11 billion, and then the kids have to read.
Because she doesn't get out of bed for like less than $100,000. She doesn't even wake up. But now you being her life coach.
I am her life coach. I would tell her that I probably told her to write the essay. I don't remember.
Oh.
I tell her so many things in the course of the day. I would suspect, though, here's the thing. She looks like a philanthropist, but this is smart because those kids aren't going to want to read a textbook anyway.
True. That's true.
But you show them one episode of Walker, Texas Ranger,
and they're hooked.
And they're going to want to know everything about it. And they're going to read the hell out of this book.
And then after that, you show them an episode of the A-Team.
And their heads explode.
Right.
So
there's nothing better.
No, there's nothing better in the world. So
except for this podcast.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is pumped over the speakers every day as part of daily announcements.
Just like at the Metal Foundry. It's pumped over the speakers.
I do play this at the Kim Jong-il Metal Foundry, the glorious supreme leader of all metal foundries in Pyongyang, North Korea. Every day is...
It's funny that every time I say the word Metal Foundry, you have to say the entire Metal Foundry thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it worked when I owned the Chairman Mao Metal Foundry. Mao. The glorious Eastern Rising Sun of all metal foundries in Deng Xiaoping City, China, which I lost, as you may remember, in a bet on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And
we thought you might be able to get it back on the March Madness.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen because you picked poorly.
I picked poorly. But I'm very happy with the Kim Jong-il Metal Foundry, the supreme glorious leader of all metal foundries in Pyongyang, North Korea. So that's all I have to say.
So,
But thank you, Lady Rebecca, for writing in. Anyone else, if you want to get that book, get your hands on it, send us an essay, podcast@bigdaveandcompany.com. Make sure you include an address where we can send it if you, in the unlikely event you're the winner.
Right, a physical address, because it's an actual book.
A mailing address.
Right.
We're not going to show up at your house.
Correct. So, how do you think the Unscripted podcast went?
I think it went pretty well.
I do, too.
I think we should wrap it up, though.
Yeah,
because we're
gonna,
out of things to
be
say,
long on time, otherwise.
and we're a little long on time. We just passed the 35-minute mark, and you began to kick me in the balls underneath the table, which is unfortunate with your stiletto heels on.
Right, especially when you have a gaping vagina.
So I should probably thank Morningwood Estates for their sponsorship of this wonderful podcast.
Thank you, Morningwood Estates.
Thank you to Bob's House of Wigs. Go online, call for either of those fine institutions. Is there anything else?
West Virginia Power and Light.
West Virginia Power and Light. They don't care if you go online. Just
pay your bill.
Turn your lights on, pay your bill. Is there anything else you want to say before we're done for the day today?
No, sir.
All right. And then in that case, send questions, comments to Big David or podcast at bigdaveandcompany.com. Check out bigdaveandcompany.com to find
with links
fantastic
to everything
things
that
every day.
We are associated with.
Buy lots of things from the Big Dave and Company podcast store. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And those are the only instructions. That's your homework. So
it's required homework.
That's required homework from us. So
there will be a test.
I'm gonna make sure, because I'm gonna check and see if our numbers go up, our followers. So, on behalf of Mike Alicious, all the rest of the company, including but not limited to the unpaid interns, Cumberbund from the FCC, the lovely Emily, Herbie the Wonder Dog, I am Big Dave saying thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. And do your homework. Next week on the Big Dave and Company podcast, I'm going to read Rudyard Kipling's The White Man's Burden while Mike Alicious makes porn music noises in the background.
Like slapping of skin?
No, like the music, like bow, chicka, bow, wow.
I'd rather make the nuts on butts sound. Dun dun dun.
That's good. That